My name is Sierra, and today we will talk about the compliance techniques. Our show is called The Outsiders, but one may ask, what are the compliance techniques? It is when individuals are influenced to comply with the demand or desire of others. It is the result of direct pressure to respond to a request.
Okay, so there are two different types of compliance techniques that we're going to talk about today. The first one is reciprocity. So reciprocity is a social norm that we believe that we should treat others the way that they treat us. And so usually this technique is used for salespeople across the world. They use the technique called the door in the face. So one request that they make, they will generally make it and it will be turned down because they know it's a little high. So then they'll make a second request that asks less, and you're more likely to accept the second request. This technique has been studied multiple times, but probably the most famous one is of Cialdini in his 1975 study at a college campus.
Posing as representatives for a counseling group, Cialdini and his team asked college students if they were willing to chaperone a group of juvenile delinquents on a day trip to the zoo. 83% did not agree to do so. Again, they went and asked college students if they were willing to volunteer to be a counselor for 2 years. No one agreed to volunteer until they asked them if they would take the kids to the zoo. About 50% agreed to do so.
Commitment. Not the commitment of, let's say, a marriage or a relationship. This is different. This commitment is considered being consistent with the previous behavior. Once people make a choice, they will encounter personal and interpersonal pressures to have the consistent behavior. This occurs even when it appears illogical to an outsider. In 1951, Kurt Lewin argued that behavior is motivated by goal gradients, and you may ask what goal gradients are. Well, this means the longer someone commits to a goal, it is less likely that the goal is abandoned. An example of Lewin's argument is when you stand in an ice cream line when the line isn't even moving, but you have committed to this line and you will not move. A technique that falls under the commitment would be the foot in the door technique. The foot in the door technique is when you get people to make a commitment of something small in hopes of getting them to agree to something larger. In 1992, Dickerson showed the technique of foot in the door by getting people to conserve water in dorm showers in Santa Cruz, California. This group of college students were asked to sign a poster and then take a survey of their personal water wastage when taking showers. The shower times were then monitored after the students wrote their names on the poster, and the average shower time was 3.5 minutes, which was significantly lower than the people who did not sign the poster. Another technique that falls under commitment is lowballing. In 1974, Cialdini used first-year psychology students to volunteer as part of a study on cognition, and he told them at 7 a.m. Only 24% were willing to sign up and volunteer. The second group, he did not tell the time, but asked the same study question of cognition, and 56% agreed to volunteer, and no one backed out after saying that it was at 7 a.m. 95% showed up after this study occurred. The last commitment technique would be considered hazing, which is being asked to join an exclusive group and being included into a ceremony in order to join the group. An example of hazing is in 1963, Young had a study on tribal cultures. There was 54 tribal cultures, and he noticed that with the tribes with the most dramatic ceremonies had the greatest group commitment. Another example of hazing is in 1966, Grenard and Mathewson had a study on women who received electric shocks as part of their initiation, which was hazing. He noticed that those who endured the most pain of the groups were more interested.
Thanks for watching. I hope you learned a lot about compliance techniques. Come back next week and we'll talk about conformity. Bye!